Okay, so our today's topic is going to be the blood vessels, right? The blood vessels that basically are present in the human body. So basically, they are of three types, right? They are of many types. They have got different, you can say, diameters. They have got different functions, right? But generally, we can say that the blood vessels that are present in the human body, they can be of three types, right? Number one, they are arteries, right? They are capillaries, and they are veins. So these are the main three different types of blood vessels that are present in our body. Definitely, you know that arteries can be divided into smaller arteries, like they are called as arterioles, right? Arterioles. And veins can also divide into smaller veins, and they are called as venules, right? Almost they have got the similar properties, but there are few differences in veins and venules, or arteries or arterioles, right? That is diameter, that is pressure, right? Now if we see an artery, right? If we see an artery, arteries always have got, if I magnify them, right? I'm not drawing the arteries and capillaries and veins to the same scale. Basically, I am just you can see your arteries and veins through your naked eye, but the difference is that the why am I making them a little bigger so that I can show you the different structures or the different layers in an artery wall clearly, right? So if we see an artery, arteries always have got a narrow lumen, right? And if I make a transverse section, you will see that arteries have got thick muscular walls, and their walls are basically three layers that are present. We get three walls, we can say. So this is an artery that I am drawing in front of you. So this cavity, I have made a transverse section so that you can see that this cavity that is present in an artery, that is called as lumen. What is lumen? Lumen is the cavity present inside it. And this portion that I'm just making with the dots, right? This portion or this wall, thick wall, is basically made up of elastic fibers. Majorly elastic fibers are present. Not only elastic fibers are present, other than that, there can be smooth muscles. They are also present because they are thick now. So they have three different types of tissues in it. And they are elastic fibers, they are smooth muscles, and the third one is the collagen fibers. Collagen is basically a protein. It's a fibrous protein that provides more strength to an artery so that it does not collapse when there is high pressure in an artery. Because when the heart squeezes, or when the blood comes out of the heart, it is first received by the arteries. So that's why we can say arteries have got, arteries are the first tube-like structures that receive blood from the heart, and that's why they need to have thick walls so that they can resist the pressure. And when the blood comes into the artery, it has to have elastic fibers in it. Why elastic fibers should present in this wall? Because these elastic fibers will make it more elastic so that it can expand and it can recoil back, right? If it will not have these elastic fibers, or if they will not have any elasticity in them, right, what will happen, that the pressure is too high, that it will burst, right? So that's why the arteries should have these elastic fibers so that they can resist the pressure that is coming from the heart, right? And the last wall that you can see, the outermost wall, that is also called as the outer wall, or you can say tunica externa, or external wall. So there are different ways to give name to these walls, right? They can be, you can call them like tunica. Tunica basically means layer. Tunica externa, right? Means that this is the external wall. So tunica externa is made up of smooth muscles and collagen, right? Collagen is basically the protein that should be present in to provide more strength and more support to the arteries, right? So this is an artery. Now, if you see the diagram of an artery, right? Let me share some of the diagrams of an diagram of an artery. That is, for example, if you see this one, right? The innermost lining that is lining the lumen, right? This lining is made by endothelium, or you can say epithelium, right? Epithelium is basically simple lining cells. They are present everywhere in every organ, right? So they are flat epithelium cells. So that's why they have given a name squamous epithelium, right? Squamous epitheliums are basically flat epithelial cells, and they join together to form an epithelium lining. This innermost lining that is lining the lumen of an artery, they are called as uh, endothelium. Why they are called as endothelium? Why we don't simply call them epithelium lining? Because endothelium means that is the innermost epithelium lining. So that's why it is called as endothelium, right? This is again lumen of an artery. The thick elastic muscular fiber wall is present. This one, and this one outermost is the tunica externa. So this is tunica externa, this is tunica media, that is the middle layer, and this is the innermost layer. So that's why it is also called as tunica interna. Interna means the innermost. This is the middle layer, this is the outer layer, and this is the innermost lining. I hope you are getting it. Right now, let's see that how these layers are made. The innermost lining is made up of epithelium cells, simply epithelial cells, a very smooth single layers of the cells that is present in an artery, right? This is, we are talking about an artery. Relatively narrow lumen, middle layer containing elastic fibers, collagen fibers, and smooth muscles. So these are, to memorize it, you can say ECS. ECS means elastic muscle fiber, C means collagen, and S means smooth muscles, right? So these three of the tissues, three of the muscles, fibers, they are present in the middle layer. So that's why it basically, as it is present next to the epithelium lining, so that's why it has to resist more pressure. So that's why it has the you can say more role to resist the pressure, or you can say they have to they should have more tissues in it, elastic fiber tissues in it, so that they can resist the pressure and so that they don't collapse, right? So this is the middle layer. The outermost layer, or the tunica externa, basically contains collagen, that is a protein, collagen fibers, and elastic fibers, right? They have additional elastic fibers. Why these additional elastic fibers are present here? So that they can provide more, you can say, flexibility, more, you can say, because the pressure is too high in some of the arteries like aorta. Aorta is the biggest artery of our body, and aorta basically has to resist the maximum pressure, right? Agar aapse, if anyone asks you that which artery has the maximum pressure in it, so that will always be the artery, right? Which blood vessel that has that is aorta, right? Because that is the first artery that receives blood directly from the left ventricle, and you know left ventricle has got thick walls. You must have studied in the IGCSE that they have got thick walls, so that's why they have to create more pressure. And when there is more pressure that is created by the ventricle, it has the pressure needs to be resisted by the aorta, right? It is created by the ventricles, but it needs to be resisted by the, or you can say faced by aorta for the first time. And then there are smaller arteries that come and they split and they make arterioles, and when they reach to the you can say some organs, they become muscular arteries, right? So arteries can further be divided into two types. Number one, there are some arteries that are called as elastic arteries, and there are some arteries that are called as muscular arteries. Muscular arteries, right? What do we mean by this? Elastic arteries are the one that has got more elastic fibers in it. Muscular arteries are the ones that has got more muscle fibers or collagen protein in them. So do you so if we talk about that, where the elastic arteries are present and where the muscular arteries are present, it's obvious that the ones that are receiving blood directly from the heart, they should have more elastic fibers in it. So those arteries that are present near to the heart, that are connected to the heart directly, like for example aorta, for example pulmonary artery, right? So these arteries have more elastic fibers, so that's why they're called as elastic arteries, right? And the muscular arteries are the ones that are entering into the organs, like for example renal artery. Renal artery is supplying blood to the kidneys, so it shouldn't have much of the pressure, because it is no more needed, because the blood has arrived, blood has reached to the organ, so that's why it does not need any high pressure. So that's why they will become muscular arteries. So arteries in different parts of the body vary in their structure. Arteries near to the heart have especially large number of elastic fibers in the middle layer, as shown here. In other parts of the body, the middle layer contains less elastic tissues and more smooth muscles. So means that they have got less tissue. It's not so that they don't have any elastic tissues in them. They do have, but they have got more muscles in them. So that's why they are called as muscular arteries. And where they're present near to the organs. I hope you understood the entire structure of an artery. Now let's move on to the vein structure, right? Veins, basically, if you see this one, this is not drawn to the same scale, right? They are drawn at different scales, and the scales are shown with the help of these bar scales. This is 7 micrometer bar scale. This is 0.7 millimeter bar scale. So they are not drawn to the same scale. Uh, this one is a vein. As you can see that it has got a relatively large lumen as compared to an artery, right? They also have got three layers or three linings. The innermost one that is lining the lumen, that is called as epithelium, or definitely the endothelium lining, the innermost lining, and they are like an artery. This one is basically the middle layer. As you can see, the three of the layers or the linings are not too thick, right? In comparison to an artery, they are thinner, right? So we can say that they have got muscular walls, right? Whereas an artery, it has more muscular walls, right? And arteries have got narrow lumen, whereas a vein has got bigger lumen, right? And or you can say wider lumen. And in the middle layer, definitely there are smooth muscles present, right? There are elastic fibers present, but there is no collagen. So ES present here, but no C is here, right? And here what you can see, only C is present, that is collagen. So this is the way you can memorize that which layer have what kind of tissues or fibers in it. So collagen fibers are only present in the external wall, so that it can provide support, strength, so that it does not collapse, right? Whereas elastic fibers, a little elastic fibers are present in the middle layer, so that obviously there will be some pressure in the veins to resist that pressure, or to you can say have some elasticity in it so that they don't collapse, because there are people who develop blood pressure problem if these elastic fibers were not present in the veins. What would have happened? that the person may died of that high blood pressure because there are no elastic fibers to resist that high blood pressure in the veins. So smooth muscles are also present. They are also supportive in nature. So this is the structure of a vein. Got it? And now let's see that what is the structure of a, sorry, what is the structure of a capillary? Capillaries are basically microscopic structures, and they have got, uh, you can say, they cannot be seen with the naked eye. You can only see them with the help of a microscope because their diameter is only 7 micrometer, right? And that is almost the same diameter of a red blood cell. So it means that the red blood cell, when passes through a capillary, right, it has to squeeze itself to pass through them, right? Because unless it will not pass, it will not be able to pass through it. So this is basically a capillary that is not drawn to the same scale. It is a magnified form of, you can say, the uh, capillary, and capillaries are basically made up of only epithelium cells, or they are single layered lining, right? Their lumen are just big enough for one red blood cell to pass through it, right? And walls are made up of endothelium, or you can say epithelial lining that is made by squamous epithelium cells, right? Epithelium or epithelial cells and epithelium lining, right? Epithelial cells are basically of four types: squamous epithelium, they are flat epithelial cells, there are cuboidal, there are ciliated, and there are columnar. They are the four types of epithelial cells, right? So the cells that make up the inner lining of the artery, inner lining of the capillary, sorry, the lining of the capillary and the inner lining of the vein, they are called as epithelial cells, right? So this is the comparison between an artery and a vein and a capillary, right? We have also talked about the elastic artery and the muscular artery. Elastic arteries are the ones that has got more elastic fibers in it, and the muscular arteries have got higher proportion of uh, muscles in it, right? Now, when an artery reaches to the organ to which it is supplying blood, right? These arteries are further divided into arterioles, and basically, those arterioles are called as muscular arteries, right? Because they are near to the organs. The blood pressure in the arterioles is lower as compared to an artery, right? The lumen of an artery is relatively narrower, right? And the lumen of the arterioles is further narrow, right? And capillaries, their diameter is 7 micrometer, right? The capillaries are further, you can say they have got a capillary bed that is near to an artery that is called as atrial capillary bed, and the capillary bed that is present near to the veins, that they are called as venous capillary bed, or the capillary bed that is near to the veins, right? Now, what do we mean by this? For example, let's suppose this is an artery. Let's suppose, let's suppose this is an artery, right? Let me make it in the center. Let's suppose this is an artery that is supplying blood to any organ of your body. When it reaches near to the organ of the body, right, it splits into smaller arterioles, right? Or you can say first smaller arteries and then the arterioles, right? And then these arterioles, when reached to the cellular level, they further split into smaller capillaries, right? And then when these capillaries join together, right? For example, here, this is an artery, right? This is an arteriole, right? And this is a network of capillaries. Can you see that? Okay, capillaries, right? Here, they will also be a capillary bed. And when they all join together, right, they make up venules. And then when these venules join together, they make up a bigger vein, right? So this is a vein, and its lumen is bigger than the artery's lumen. You can see that, right? So these are venules, right? And this is a bigger vein that is bringing blood back into the heart, right? Now, if you see this capillary bed, if I make it like this, let's suppose this is a capillary, right? And this capillary is further divided into, you can say, two regions. The region that is present near to the arteries, this side, that will be called as atrial capillary bed. Atrial capillary bed. Why it is called as atrial capillary bed? Because it is near to the arteries. And this side capillary bed will be called as venous capillary bed. Means that they are present near to the veins. Capillary bed. Right? These are two very important terms that I'm going to use next in another topic, and that is the lymphatic system, or you can say when the exchange of substances takes place in the capillaries. Are you getting me, everyone? I hope you all are getting me. So this is the comparison between arteries, veins, and capillaries. Right? Once again, let's have a recap of three of the blood vessels. Arteries, they have got narrow lumen. Arteries, they have got, you can say, thick muscular walls generally, collectively, and they have got three layers. The innermost layer is called as endothelium, a smooth single layered cells, squamous epithelium that makes up that lining. And the middle layer is made up of elastic fibers, collagen fibers, and smooth muscles. Means ECS. E, elastic, C, collagen, and S, smooth muscles. And whereas the outermost lining is only made up of CE, right, or EC, that is the elastic fibers and smooth muscles, or sorry, the collagen fibers. And arteries can be divided into two types, can have two different parts. The artery, when is near to the heart, that is called as elastic artery, because it needs more elastic fibers in it. And the artery that is near to the organs, that is called as muscular artery, because it has got less proportion of elastic fibers in it, right? And the veins, they have got narrow lumen, broader lumen. They have got thin muscular walls. They have got elastic fibers in the middle layer only, and the smooth muscles in the middle layer, and only the collagen fibers in the outermost. Means both of the linings have got ECS, but the ES is present in the middle layer, and C is only present in the outermost lining, right? So this is the comparison between an artery and a vein. Capillary basically is a single layered, thin walled, single celled lining, and they are used for the exchange of substances. They always carry blood away from heart, the arteries, right? Away from heart. I'm telling you about the functions. Heart, and they always help in the exchange of substances, right? And veins basically are the ones that bring blood back to the heart, right? Is that clear? I hope that's clear. Okay. This is a photomicrograph. Let's have a look how to identify between an artery and a vein. This is an artery. Why it's an artery? Because it has got thick muscular walls. And why it's a vein? Because it has got thin muscular walls, whereas the lumen is also bigger, right? And arteries have got narrow lumen. This is also one of the way through which you can identify between an artery and a vein, right? Elastic artery, muscular artery, we have talked about. And this is the transmission electron micrograph of a smaller artery that is showing you the a little thinner elastic muscular fiber wall that has got the elastic fibers in the inner layer. Middle layer has got smooth muscles, and the outermost layer has got collagen. All the three of them are present, but they are present in less quantity as compared to a bigger artery like aorta or pulmonary artery. And inside it, you can see that there are red blood cells of biconcave shape. There are some white blood cells as well, but these biconcave shapes are showing you, are helping you to identify that they are red blood cells, right? And in this photomicrograph, you can see that the blood capillary, this is the blood capillary. Let me change my shade of my pen so that it becomes visible for you. So this is a capillary, right? And inside it, these cells are called as red blood cells, and they are passing in one line. Why? Because they are of the equal diameter, or you can say equal size in comparison to the, if we compare it with the capillary diameter, that is 7 micrometers. So that's why they have to squeeze themselves when they have to pass through them, and they have to, you can say, move in one line. They cannot move in bulk, they always move in this way, right? Okay, so there are some arteries and veins who have got the ability to, you can say, constrict and to dilate. The maximum of this property is present in arteries, right? The walls of the arterioles have a nerve supply, and these nerve supplies from coming from the brain help them to contract, means become narrow, or you can say become wider according to the situation. For example, during the you can say the homeostasis of the thermal regulation, or you can say homeostasis of the temperature in the body, core body temperature I'm talking about. So what happens is that the blood vessels can constrict and can, you can say, can become dilated according to the temperature. For example, when it's very hot, they get dilated, and when it's very cold, they get constricted. This is one of the example that I'm giving you during homeostasis of your, you can say, body temperature. These arteries and arterioles can contract and can relax, or you can say they can constrict, right? And they can dilate according to the temperature of the body during hot and during cold. So this is basically the property of arterioles. So I think that's it for today. The blood vessels are covered, right? And now we will talk about, in our next class, veins. We are done. And one more feature in the veins is basically the veins have got these valves, whereas the arteries don't have these one-way valves in them. Why? And these valves are semilunar valves. Why they have these valves? They have these valves to prevent the backward flow of blood. Because there is less pressure in a vein. Whenever the blood passes through a vein, it always has got less pressure. So there is a danger of the blood to come back into the previous section. So that's why these valves are present after every few centimeters in your all body parts, so that they can prevent the backward flow of blood. So that's it for today. I hope you understood the concept, or I hope you understood the comparison between an artery, vein, and a capillary, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
bye for now, right? And take care of yourself. I hope I will meet you again inshallah, in our next class.